Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Appreciate it. I want to follow up on what my colleague was talking about with bird flu. It's very, very concerning for a lot of reasons. We just had a bird flu outbreak in Ulster County in my district in January. We had another one in Delaware County just last week. And of course, we've seen what's been happening with egg prices. Mr. West, I wanted to ask you this question. I share your concerns about the damage this virus is causing, and I agree with colleagues on both sides of the aisle that we really got to get it under control. I'm an original co-sponsor of a bipartisan bill that Congressman Costa and others are leading, the Healthy Poultry Assistance Indemnification Act. And my understanding is under current law, farmers will get compensated if they have to depopulate a farm where bird flu is found, but that the folks who are in the surrounding control areas also have to take measures, but they don't get compensated. And so our bill would allow them to be compensated for the economic impacts that they face. I know that this bill is supported by the American Farm Bureau Federation, the National Chicken Council, and the United Egg Producers. And I was just hoping you could take a couple minutes to make the case for folks here why this bill is so important.
Well, the control zone in each neighborhood. Let me describe the process. When there's an avian influenza case, there's a circle around that farm. It can be 5 kilometers, it can be 10 kilometers, and permitting needs to be done through those areas. If you have a like poultry farm in that area, you would have to do increased testing. You would have to jump through a few different hoops to get your products moved. So we would support anything that would support that farmer next door to get his product moved.
No, I appreciate that. Ms. Stedmer, I had a question about, in your testimony, you talked about how American farmers are forced to rely on China for a lot of vitamins. And you listed some things like B12, thiamine, folic acid that are made almost exclusively in China. You said that China makes about 80% to 100% of various other vitamins. And I'm just curious, why exactly is that the case? And are there things we should be doing with American public policy to start trying to lessen our dependence on China for this stuff?
I would say that process happened through time as the economic and environmental pressures were here in the U.S. on those particular manufacturing plants. They went elsewhere into China. And so I don't have a specific answer. If there were any plants that were going to be built, it's going to take time to get those built and then permitting for that to happen. So I think in the meantime, once again, keeping in mind that they come from China, many of those trace minerals and amino acids, and continue to have that thought in mind when we have conversations on a relationship with China.
Yeah. So, but there's not like some sort of structural or scientific or technical reason we're depending on China for this stuff. Like we could, if we put our minds to it and made the investments, we could scientifically we could probably do this here in America. Is that your sense?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct,
okay.
yes.
Yeah. It just seems like, I mean, this is the thing across so much of the country, and certainly in my district in upstate New York, where we have been the economy has just been hollowed out because we've ceded ground to China and other competitors around the world. We used to make stuff in America, and something as simple, maybe I guess I shouldn't say as simple. I'm sure making vitamins is probably very complex scientifically, but when you're telling me that 100% of these vitamins that our farmers need, we're depending on China for that makes absolutely no sense to me. And so maybe we could look into ways to start making stuff in America again. I'll yield back the balance of my time, Mr. Chairman.